Hello all, thank you for tuning in to another video. Today I have another one of my over engineered works that I'd like to showcase. This one took quite a bit of parts and engineering to get to work, but let me just show him. It is this, I'm gonna call it a hybrid action figure. I don't really know what to call it other than just a custom action figure because the articulation scheme and the functionality of him is not like any other Mattel figure that I've seen, aside from the parts, of course. But the main reason I made this is because I picked up the main event series 159, I think, that farewell Cena from last year, and I just wanted to see if I could use the rubber overlay shirt and make an articulated figure, and it kind of worked, honestly. I mean, the silhouette, it looks like Cena. That's just, I don't know how else to say that, but I think now we can just hop into the part selection and we can go from there. As far as parts on this guy, we're just going to start from the top of the list and then work our way down. The first figure I used was the main event series 159 farewell John Cena. I used the head, the shirt, and the wristbands from that figure. And then the torso, for the upper torso at least, I used the McFarlane Gold Label Wildcat figure. And then for the lower abdomen piece, I used the Jazzwares Unmatched 7 pack. For the shoulders, I used the Ultimate Edition 24 Bray Wyatt. And then for the sleeves, I used the Elite Legends Series 23 Big Bubba Rogers. And then for the arms, I used the Ultimate Edition 22 John Cena. Also from the Ultimate Edition 22 John Cena is the crotch and the legs. For the knees, I used the Ultimate Edition 15 Brock Lesnar. Then for the calves, I used the Elite 47 Cesaro. And for the ankles, I used the Ultimate Edition 24 Finn Balor. And then the feet also come from the Ultimate Edition 22 John Cena. I guess the last thing I did want to list is the neck peg. Let me show you guys here. I added some articulation into the neck peg, kind of spoiling the video here a little bit, but I did want to list the part. I used a G.I. Joe classified low light action figure. And I took his dumbbell peg at the top, and then I also used his neck peg at the bottom here to give Cena double articulation. So I did want to list that as well. But, well, with that being said, now I guess we can talk about the modifications I did to this guy. Welcome to the mods overview portion of this video. We can just hop right into it, and we can start with the shirt mod. So the first thing I did for this custom was I removed the shirt from the main event John Cena figure. How I did that was I cut the arms off of the pegs and then I snapped the pegs out of the figure itself. The main reason for that is there's no good way to really get the shirt off if the arms are still pegged into the figure. After I removed those arms, I just cut the seam along the back here, and you can see that this is where the shirt pegged into the figure. I just used a heat gun, and I slowly removed and cut away at it. But after that, the shirt should just come right off, and as you can see, I did smooth out the shirt here. I just cut away the rest of the peg to make it fit on the base body better, but that should be it for the shirt. Next up is the torso mod. And here are the remnants of the Wildcat figure that I also used for my Braun Strowman custom. I sanded the back and chest down a little bit, just so it can fit the shirt better. Because if you don't do that, this shirt is just literally not going to fit at all. And then I cut the neck out, obviously because I used the neck peg for the Strowman figure, but because we're also going to add a new neck peg to this, and you guys will see later in the video what I'm talking about. But the next step is I dremeled out some space in this hole where the old peg used to go, and I'm actually going to use this AEW Jazzwares pack lower. I removed the upper torso and then I shaved down this peg here. We're going to get some Procreate or sculpting clay And then we're going to throw it in here so it molds correctly. And this should be the body under the shirt. And it should have some pretty good articulation. Even if it's hindered by the plastic shirt, it should still have a decent range. I also wanted to mention that I did cut away at the hack lower abdomen so it could fit in the Wildcat torso. And here is that Wildcat upper torso with the new peg in there. Next order of business, we're going to get to working on the new neck peg I want to put in this custom. We're going to use this G.I. Joe classified low light figure. He's got the double articulation points where it's at the head and it's at the bottom of the neck. And that's perfect because, I mean, you guys seen we cut the space out in that McFarlane figure, so this should work out nice. I'm going to try and torso crack this just to get to these joints, and then we're going to go from there. Alright, went ahead and cracked the torso open as well. Honestly, it was kind of the same process as the Mattel Elite figure, just cut at the seams, but we are just after this, the neck peg, because we are going to try and fit it into, if I can find it here, we're going to try to fit it into here just to give Cena some more articulation because he's going to have that rubber shirt on top of him. So I'm going to see if we can do that, and we're also going to cut this Elite Cena torso. We're going to cut the neck out as well because this is obviously going to go with the Cena heads and because it fills out the silhouette. So I'm going to try and fit the bottom part, at least, of this into here. And we're going to save the top half for some more modification a little bit later. And after cutting up those pieces, this is what they should look like. This is the neck that I cut out from that Elite Cena. I just went at it with the saw blade attachment. And I am in the process of smoothing it out, so this is not the final look. I did just hollow out in here because I cut down that G.I. Joe figure's neck. So I cut it in half, and then this is the bottom half. This is going to go down here like this. Like that, so it's got the ball joint at the bottom of the neck. And then this part is going to go up here. Like so. So basically that G.I. Joe neck joint is just going to live inside of the Mattel neck joint like that. So that way he's got some tilt action up there, and he also gets it at the bottom so he can get even more articulation. Next step is I'm just going to try and set it into the torso, and I'm going to smooth everything out obviously, but everything's coming along pretty nicely. And here's some progress on the neck peg. You can see I put the Mattel peg on there. I just took it off of the basic Cena figure here. I just cut it off at the neck there. And then I hollowed it out and I cut off the ball joint from the G.I. Joe figure and I added sculpt. And then I'm going to glue them together obviously. But it still retains the full articulation and everything. And yeah, all that's left is to paint this up. And here's the neck peg all painted up. I got it to match pretty nicely. And I'm just going to throw it on the figure here just to test out the articulation and whatnot. And it fits pretty good. Articulation works flawlessly, I would say. And it's not really rubbing on anything, so it's also a nice added bonus. Now I'm going to just test fit the shirt just to see if there's any issues with the fitting. And it looks good. And there you go, the articulation is still retained thanks to the shirt being made out of rubber. And now I'm going to test fit the head, and it looks pretty good as well. Now moving on to the shoulders and arms, I went ahead and removed the arms off of the Bray Wyatt Ultimate Edition figure. We're going to acetone the designs off of these since they match the shirt pretty well, so we don't got to worry about painting these. But as far as the sleeves, I got these from the Elite Big Bubba Rogers. I'm going to try and cut these skinnier arms off, and we're going to try to put regular bigger arms in there because obviously Cena's got the jacked arms. So I'm going to try to work on that as well, and obviously we're going to repaint this, but arms should look like a combination of these parts. And here are the completed arms, fully repainted and sealed and everything. I didn't mention it in the last clip, but I did go ahead and put the Wildcat shoulder joints onto the Bray Wyatt shoulder. Essentially, I just cut both of them and I just spliced them together. But I wanted these to, of course, fit into the McFarlane torso that we're using. So, I mean, it would make sense to use the McFarlane joints as well. But you can see I got the bigger arms in the sleeve. I just cut off the original Bubba Rogers arm and I dremeled in the sleeve, and then I put the Cena arm in there, and it looks pretty good. It matches, or the blue matches well enough for me. It's not super 1-to-1, but hold on, let me get this. There we go. There we go. And it matches good enough. It's not 1-to-1, but I mean, it gets the job done here. And this is the blue I used to repaint the Cena, the Vallejo model color dark blue, azul, well, whatever this is right here, that's what I used. And then if you guys are curious about the primer and sealer that I use Mr. Surfacer 1000, of course. And this is the sealer I use, Mr. Super Clear Matte. You can pick those up anywhere. I'd usually just get it from Hobby Lobby, but that basically completes the arm process there. Next up, we can talk about the Crotch Mod. This is the stock Ultimate Edition 22 John Cena crotch piece. Obviously, we're using the Jazzwares Pac abdomen, so I wanted to convert the crotch piece to work like a Jazzwares lower. And of course, here is the Jazzwares Pac crotch piece. I essentially want the Ultimate Edition Cena crotch piece to look like this. So the first thing I do is I remove the ball joint system, and then I cut away the hip ball joints and leave just the ball joint that the torso attaches to. As far as the Cena crotch piece, I use these Dremel attachments here to remove the original waist peg, and I just sunk the space in more so it looks more like a Jazzwares crotch piece. Then I took the Cena crotch piece, I added some epoxy sculpt right there, and I set the Jazzwares ball joint in there so it has a designated like slot area. Then of course I glued them together and I clamped them down and let it set. And here's the crotch piece all finished up. You can see I added more epoxy sculpt on top of it just to make it more secure, and it works pretty good. Here I am going to test the torso and everything just to make sure it fits okay, and it fits flawlessly. And for the final mod, I guess I would just like to point out the mod that I did to the knees here. Obviously, these are the Ultimate Edition 15 Brock Lesnar knees. Now, if you do this standard and you put the knees into the Cena shorts, they're going to be too loose. They're going to be a little floppy. So what I did is I took some Procreate putty, I mixed a little bit, and I threw it in the Cena shorts, and then I put the knee in there so it's a more snug fit. And you can see it bends like factory. It's snug and tight in there, so it's no longer loose, but that is the last thing I would like to mention for this guy. And for his articulation, starting at the head, he's got the double dumbbell joint obviously at the top. He's got that all the way around motion, same thing with the neck. With both of them working in tandem, he can look up this far. Really good for a wrestling action figure. He can look down this far. He can bury his chin. And then he's got the head tilt, obviously. And his head can go all the way around. He's got the swivel at the bottom of the neck too, but I mean, you don't really use that because it's not natural. At the shoulders here, they go all the way around. And then, of course, it's got the McFarlane floating butterfly joint kind of system going on. Go forward this far, go back this far. I mean, going forward, let's see if he can really do that much. Yeah, I mean, it's with the shirt flexing and everything, you can actually touch his hand, so I guess it kind of acts as a butterfly system. Going backwards, though, it's not that impressive. Well, actually, it's not that bad. He's got bicep swivel as well, of course. He's got double jointed elbows. They keep their full range even though they're the bigger arms. He's got wrist swivel. then wrist hinge, and then the torso is where it gets interesting. Underneath, it's laid out just like an AEW Jazzwares figure. It's got the diaphragm ball joint here, and then the waist ball joint. So with the shirt on it, this is how much crunch he gets forward, which is pretty good. I think most of it is coming from the waist, but you can kind of see some of it is coming from here too. I wish this rubber overlay was a little bit thinner, but beggars can't be choosers. You can see with the AEW pack lower, it keeps the illusion that he's wearing a shirt, which I think is pretty cool. And then crunch backwards, he can go that far backwards, pretty good as well. And then he's got side to side tilt, of course, that's also pretty good. Then at the hips, he's got the drop down hips, of course. Go kick forward this far. Oh, actually, let's try the other leg. I think it moves a little better. There you go. Kicks forward this far. Backward, not that much. Out to the side, he can do the full splits. So if you ever need Cena to do the splits, he can definitely do them. Then he's got thigh swivel. And then the knees, with the modification, they get pretty good range there, even through the knee pad. And then he's got ankle swivel, or boot swivel, and then he's got ankle pivot. Feet go back this far, they go forward this far, and then he's got toe hinge. So he's got pretty good articulation, honestly. He moves better than the elites, of course, and I mean, he's got pretty standard, I would say maybe above standard Ultimate Edition articulation. I mean, he's on par with them, but I think the neck articulation sets it apart. But I think now we are good to hop into some accessories for this guy. Here's what I would include with him for accessories if he was a standard release figure. It is mostly just hands, but we're still going to run through them anyways. Starting from this side, we've got this thumbs up, or like pointing at himself kind of hand. Then we've got this 2-finger salute hand over here. This is from the Ultimate Edition Muda. I just took the white tape off of the fingers, and it works pretty well for Cena. Then we've got these kind of clawed or curled finger hands. Then we've got the tried and true relaxed hands here. This could also double as a saluting hand for Cena. Then we've got these flat you can't see me hands here, or just waving hands. Then we've got a pair of pointing fingers. Then a pair of fists as well. Then I call these hands like championship holding hands. I don't really know what else you would call them, but I place these hands when they have like the title on their shoulder or on their waist, and it looks pretty good. Then you got his dog tags, and then his towel that goes into his butt cheek, painted blue to match, of course. And then head sculpts, there is the Hollywood Cena head sculpt. This could double as like his heel head sculpt or stern head sculpt. That looks pretty good. Then we got the yelling head sculpt for Cena. One gripe I have with this head sculpt always is like this side of his hair is not painted, so he just looks bald on that side. But I'll probably fix that up down the line. I don't know. We'll see. Then we got the smiling Cena head sculpt here. And I mean, they look pretty good. You guys are probably wondering why there isn't like a shirtless Cena torso, and I am working on that. It's just, I don't know, I've been trying to figure out the engineering for it and trying to figure out how the joints can work and stuff, but It is on the way, and I will make a separate video on that. But for now, we're good to look at some size comparisons. To the top of his head, Cena stands just under 7¼ inches. It's looking like just under 7 inches on camera, but that's just because of the angle. Compared to some other figures here we have this custom Ultimate Edition Sami Zayn, and then this custom Ultimate Edition Kevin Owens, and he scales pretty good. I think in real life they're all about 6'1" or 6 feet at least, and these scale pretty well in figure form, so can't complain. Get these guys out the way. Let's compare him to some other opponents of his. Here we got this Elite Top Picks Randy Orton from last year, and then the Ultimate Edition 21 Cody Rhodes, and these look pretty good as well. Yeah, they look really good. Alright, and then compared to some of the last opponents of his entire career, here we have Dominic Mysterio, Ultimate Edition 23, and then this custom Ultimate Edition Gunther. And these also look really good. Yeah, they look amazing. One last comparison, I just want to compare him to some of my last customs. Here we got that Ultimate Edition Braun Strowman, doesn't even fit on the screen. And then we got the Ultimate Edition Andrade, and these scale really well as well. Can't ask for much more. And that about wraps it up for the video today. Obviously he's not completely done. I would say he's maybe about 85% done. I do still have to make the shirtless torso for him and rework some of the areas on his shoulders and neck because there are paint rub issues, but other than that, he's semi-done. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this custom, if you didn't like this custom, I like to hear it all. Just let me know what your guys' feedback and opinions are. Let me know if you guys make this custom or if you found anything in this video useful. And I would have liked to uploaded this video at the end of last year, but you know, things happen and I get busy. But I do have other projects lined up. I know I say that at the end of every video, but I actually do have stuff that I am working on. And maybe let me know what you guys would like to see next. I will for sure take it into consideration. But as always, I will see you guys very soon.